Hey everybody, this is Jason, Zombie Collector Extraordinaire, and I have a quick video I want to get through. I have a Facebook friend who I met through one of the groups. He doesn't do YouTube, but he sent me a couple Ichiro cards. I wanted to show that real quick, and then a couple of things I've picked up over the last couple of days here in quarantine. One here I have is he sent me the Ichiro card. I think this is 2004 and he sent me that. I don't know if I have this or not. I think I do, but again, I'm always about condition, so that might be an upgrade. This is from 2020, I believe. I did not have this, so that's a cool insert of the 1985 style. And then lastly, this was the awesome one right here, the Ichiro with the rookie card, a medallion, I guess. So that's really awesome. So he sent me that as well. So cool. Then for all you wrestling fans, that probably turned off everybody just now when I said wrestling. I opened up a few boxes of wrestling cards recently, and I'm going to show that off. We got the Heartbreak Kid, cool looking card. A card here that Phil loves. Phil's a big Lex Luthor fan. He loves Lex Luger tremendously. Phil, probably right there. Make sure, Phil, you keep your hands on the keyboard there, buddy. We got another Heartbreak Kid. Now, these cards aren't special. They're just special to me. Miss Elizabeth, the most classiest lady in wrestling. Here we go. Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig. Bret the Hitman Hart, right there. The Montreal Screwjob. The Iron Sheik, one of the best heels ever in Major League Baseball, in WWF. I mean, if you ever seen some of the stuff he could do, it was pretty amazing. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. I loved him as a kid. He was such a great heel. Also, Tatanka. Oh my gosh, Tatanka. I just want to say Tanaka, which is Japanese, so I was like struggling with it. But Tatanka, and I always liked him. He had this like ring presence, and he would jump in there and like do an Indian war dance or something in the ring. I don't know if you can get away with that nowadays. People, probably, even Indians, Native Americans, would lose their minds. Like he's in there, and I'm assuming he really is a Native American. But he would be in there doing an Indian war chant or war dance, and it was like right before he like opened up the can. It was pretty impressive. Not an Indian is Randy Macho Man Savage. Awesome. We got the Nature Boy, Ric Flair. I liked the Nature Boy. Don't get me wrong. I think he was more about his shoot videos and like being able to work the microphone. To me, was more impressive than his actual wrestling skills. And I'm sure he was a great wrestler, a great technician in the ring. I just was never impressed with him. He just didn't seem like he was a guy that I just was never won me over. Rikishi, who I believe is The Rock's cousin, I believe. He's definitely, I don't know if I'd call him a legend, but I remember him pretty well. The one I do like, Big Boss Man, it was always like he was billed from like Macon, Georgia or something. And he was like, he was supposed to be like I don't know if he was supposed to be a police officer or like uh, uh, what do you call them, a prison guard or something. But that was like his shtick. He come in there with an actual billy club or whatever and open up a can on those people. Then we got Razor Ramon, aka Scott Hall. I always liked his screen presence again. It was super cool. I liked the way he worked the. I like the way he worked the microphone. Definitely cool. But I thought he had a really good ability to also do interviews and was light on his feet when it came to getting the microphone in front of him. Like he usually made it worth your while. Sting, really like Sting. I probably like 1990s Sting, like late 80s, early 90s, like more like the like Malibu Sting with the blonde hair and the happy-go-lucky war paint opposed to the Crow Sting. But Sting to Sting. Iron Sheik again, man. He had these like from Iran, these like dumbbells kind of thing, but I don't know, they're supposed to be I think 60 pounds or 80 pounds or something, and he would like do the swinging thing. They're like they look like almost like cowbells, except they're huge and solid whatever, bronze or something, and he would do these thing where he would just swing them. And apparently, no one else could do stuff like that. That was like something that only he could do. And I remember just being impressed by that. Jim the Anvil Neidhart, he had just passed away this past year. I remember him with Bret the Hitman Hart. I think they were what were they called, the heart connection or something. I can't remember their name, but they had a tag team there for a while. Then we got Bam Bam Bigelow. He kind of was a heel. He'd be a good guy, but he also was a heel. I liked him a lot too. He had no wrestling physique. He was a big old fat guy, but super tough guy. You can kind of see it on his head. He had a tattoo like flames, like legit tattoo on his head. All right, next up we have Tatanka again. There we go, like that. And these were some insert cards. I'm not the biggest Rock fan. I like him more as an actor than as a wrestler. I stopped watching during the Attitude Era. I've never been a huge fan of most of the Attitude Era wrestlers, but that was an insert that came in a box, as was this. I think that's John Cena right there getting the rock bottom, it looks like. So that's cool. Then one of my favorite wrestlers right there is a Honky Tonk Man. He always like dancing, using his with Jimmy the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart right there. He's pretty fearless in his interviews now. When he does his shoot interviews on YouTube or whatever, I mean, he just kind of, I mean, at this point, I feel like it's almost like he's being like a caricature. Could he just purposely being a heel and like calling people out on a regular basis? So it's like, how much of this is true? How much of it is him just bitter and upset and mad about the way things shook out? But anyways, I really huge fan of the Intercontinental Champion, Honky Tonk Man. Then here we got the Stinger. When I remembered him as a kid, when he was with WCW, this was more like early '90s Sting, and I remember him doing the Stinger Splash. I remember doing like, what were they? The WCW did like Summer Bash or something, and I remember him wrestling. I can't remember who it was, but he would like throw him against a turnbuckle. He goes running across the mat and just do the Stinger Splash jump, flying through the air into the corner. That was like the big deal. Then I pulled a relic card of Charlotte, and I believe this is Ric Flair's daughter, and it's numbered out of 199, so that's kind of cool. So I didn't even know I was going to get any relic cards, and these were the ones I put in the top loaders, so you know what that means. We got the $1 Million Man, Ted DiBiase, probably one of my favorite heels of all time. I don't believe he was ever a good guy, and if he was, it was probably just short-lived. I mean, maybe early on when he first started his career, but when he was the $1 Million Man, I don't think he ever was a good guy. He played the heel like amazing. I've met him at least once at a church event because he's now a pastor, and I think he runs a thing called the Heart of David out of Mississippi, where he's from, a ministry. Super nice guy. I know I've talked about him a little bit before, but I mean, like, no ego. He talks about who he used to be. He kind of was this character, apparently, in his real life back in the 80s and 90s, and how he's changed tremendously. And then I'll save him for last. Then we got another $1 Million Man card right there. Let's see here. Then we got, this was, and then I got a rookie card of Shinsuke Nakamura, which is probably like $1. But, you know, I've been watching lots of SmackDown, and I remember thinking when I first saw him pop up, I thought everybody was like, oh, he's such a good wrestler. He's so good. He said, you know, he's like part of the future of the WWE. And I watch SmackDown on a regular basis now, and he's almost on there every single Friday night. Last night was no different. And I feel like he's just like nobody. I don't feel like he's anything special. I feel like he's just going through the motion. They're like, it's the artist, also known as Shinsuke. And I mean, he has a cool intro song, and that's about the only thing going for him. I don't get it. Like, I want to like him because I thought he would be a cool Japanese wrestler. I thought he'd do a lot of like high flying stuff, or, you know, just really good wrestler, like good technician. Not really. I really like Asaka. I like her a lot. She's awesome, but I don't know. I was kind of disappointed. This is a numbered card here out of 99 of Bret the Hitman Hart, and got the guy on the sharpshooter. I don't know if we can tell who that is. Somebody with purple on. I can't. Maybe it's Rick Rude. I don't know. I can't tell. But anyways, it had RR. I can't tell who that. Does anybody know who that is right there? If you're still watching this, who he has as a sharpshooter there? Does it say? No, it does not. So anyways, that was a cool numbered card. And then my second to last guy, I'll show real quick. I've talked about this before. I've met Jason Snake Roberts. My favorite heel of all time, by far, is Jason Snake Roberts. He kind of went back and forth. He was a good guy sometimes, but generally speaking, he was a heel. And good guys were called baby faces. And I'm sure if you, again, are still watching this, you already know a lot. You know way more than me. But Jason Snake Roberts, fantastic. Met him about 2 years ago at one of his comedy shows. Awesome. Another Jake the Snake Roberts. I love this. It's legend across there. He never had a wrestler body build look. He never came out chiseled. This is probably one of his best in shape looking cards right here. He just always had kind of like one too few many beers look for him. Amazing. And then lastly, I think there's a really cool image of him as well. Jake the Snake Roberts right there. Such a cool card with Damien. If you ever go to his card, if you ever go to any of his comedy shows, he has some hilarious stories about the snakes. Because, as a kid, I just thought it was the same snake every time. So Damien's been around for he was around for a decade at least, minimum. Me growing up in like the mid '80s to the early '90s. So when Jason Snake really blew up in like 4 or 5, and then all the way through like early '90s, I guess. I always just thought it was the same snake, as you would probably most kids, and that's not the last thing you think about, but he has so many stories about snakes that would die, and he would have to go and get a new snake. He had to go get a snake wrangler, and he had to go get a snake at the last minute a lot of times, and all. I mean, it's just wild story that he would share. And then lastly, my favorite wrestler of all time, he was a good guy, he was a bad guy, he was a good guy again, but by far, Andre the Giant, my favorite wrestler. I've said the story before, but I remember watching, I think, what was the Piper Pit. And I'll probably share it every time I get an Andre the Giant card. But when Piper has Hulk Hogan out there, and I know I'm telling stories that everybody knows, and Hulk, and then he's talking about not wanting to wrestle Andre and all this kind of stuff, and then Andre the Giant shows up. I think Bobby the Brain Heenan, and he tells him, he is going to fight him and he's going to wrestle him. And that he should be scared and nervous because he's gonna let's just beat Hogan down. Then he rips the cross off, the golden cross off of Hogan's neck and throws it on the ground or throws it at him or whatever. And then he kind of walks off. And I remember being like a 10, 11-year-old kid, I'm crying and tearing up that my favorite wrestler officially became bad, and I liked Hogan, and I was crying because he they're gonna fight, and he was because Hogan would always be say your prayers and eat your vitamins and all this kind of stuff, and he's taking the cross and throwing on him. And I remember Hogan on his knees holding the golden cross that was broken and the chain and crying and everything, and just so upset. And I remember really being it really bothered me down deep. I'm like, man, this can't be happening. Andre, tell me it ain't so. But anyways, guys, hope you all enjoy that. That's just some stuff I want to quickly go through. Anyways. If you didn't enjoy it, sorry. I'll go back to doing baseball cards again here next video, I'm sure. So until next time, peace, love, and this is what happens when you're stuck in self-quarantine.